Welcome, everyone, to The Awakens Life, where New Age babes come for life and business advice. My name is Brianna Rose, and my lovely co host is Julia Portela. This episode is sponsored by Brianna Rose Branding and Julia Portela, karmic coach and spiritual speaker.
Woo! Feels good to hear that for the
Hi,
first time
Julia.
live. Hey!
Hey! We are both buzzing and we're just so excited for this episode. And this episode is all about making that money, honey. And it happens to fall on 6/6. And it is also our sixth episode. So we are going to be delving into the number six, demystifying any myths surrounding it, talking about numerology, and then we'll talk about how to make money, how to have a beautiful connection to money, and to be able to grow and prosper. But first, we're going to start with What's in the Stars by Julia, since she is an amazing astrologer, and she's going to be speaking about what's in our sixth house.
Woo! So because we're talking about the number 6 today, I wanted to focus on the 6th house because I feel like it's one of my favorite houses, but I'm also biased because I'm going into a 6th year. So there's a lot of 6 energy going on in this tonight. I know, it's crazy. So the 6th house is all about our health and wellness. And currently right now we have Uranus in there in Aries. So Aries is like this warrior, go-getter, fighter energy. And Uranus is the planet of breaking down all the bullshit, excuse my language, and rebuilding from the ground up. And it's such a powerful planet, and it usually gets a lot of bad stigma. But when you look at it in your house of health, it's actually literally forcing you to cut out the caffeine, the meat, the junk food, the carbs, the sugar, whatever it is that you have an addiction to, and I have an addiction to all of that, to cutting all of that out and really bringing in the healthy stuff, getting on a really good exercise routine that works for you, and really focusing in on your health. So it's going to be a really interesting month as this kind of plays out and the energy gets a little bit stronger. And it's definitely going to be an interesting summer as we all kind of really start to focus on our health, even if it's kind of in our subconscious. But there's definitely going to be some go-getter energy there. And then otherwise, we have Neptune going into retrograde on the 13th, which is my sister's birthday. So I know it'll be a dreamy day for all of us. And I know me and you have been feeling this energy. We were talking about it the other day. When Neptune goes into retrograde, it pushes the boundaries between reality and illusion, and it causes them to be really blurry. And sometimes it's a really fantastical and fantasy-like thing, and sometimes it's really damaging to our core beliefs. It's a good time to dive into our dreams and tap into our intuition. So it's good in that sense. It's good to keep building on those intuitive skills. But as far as our personal boundaries go, it's a really tough time to see the difference between what we want to be the truth and what actually is the truth. And balancing those two things or bridging the gap between those two things, it can become really, really hard while that's going on. And that's coming up, not today, but next Monday. So we'll be in that energy for a little bit, for a few months, and it'll be interesting. It's going to really be testing our personal relationships. So just keep that kind of in the back burner as you move forward, especially throughout the summer with all the summer flings that are coming up. So that's really what's going on.
Sharing that. I always love hearing about astrology because it impacts our lives so much. And as much as I love reading, like in the back of Elle or Vogue, your horoscope, it's so nice to hear it from you because I feel like it's like a lot more grounded and specific to actually what's going on this week. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you. I love doing astrology. It's like, so you can get so in depth with it. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And it makes so much sense. Like I feel like you hear it and then it starts to spark something within you and you can connect it into your own life. And it helps too if you're not feeling good or maybe just like a whole shit storm is starting up in your life. And you realize that maybe it's because some planets are interacting in a different way or whatever it might be. It's nice to know that there is a reason for what's happening in your inner life.
Yeah, it's definitely an invaluable tool that people that are spiritual or not spiritual use
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I don't know why I'm even saying this, but a lot of entrepreneurs that aren't really considered spiritual beings, a lot of them use astrology to promote business deals and things like that in their own lives. So it definitely is a great tool. I think everyone should know astrology. I just think it's so phenomenal.
Yeah, I once heard that J.P. Morgan, that he used to not make any business decisions until he consulted the stars, which I think is
I'm sure.
powerful.
I mean, not that this is a positive thing, but Hitler was a very famous astrologer.
Really?
Yeah. There's
Really?
like, I can't even think of the name of the documentary, but um, yeah, Hitler, basically, there's like a whole documentary about how Hitler used astrology basically to come to power
Wow.
and
All
used
right,
the
guys. Well,
energy.
we're going to use it for positive power.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's insane, though. But it just goes to show you the strength of astrology and how you can really manipulate it to what you need it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy, crazy. Well, on a more positive note,
I know.
as
You're
I
enjoying your day, everything's
said,
going right, then along comes Debbie Downer.
no, it's going to be a fun night, and we both are so excited. We were talking about this episode all day, as we normally do, and we're just really excited to break through any blockages that you have with the number six or seeing the number six repeatedly, because I know a lot of people freak out because of that. And we're going to be speaking about how you can have a good relationship with the number six, how you can have a good relationship with money, and just numerology in general. So throughout the night, we're going to be focusing probably mostly on our root chakra, because that represents finances. So we'll be focusing on that and how that interacts in our life and how to manifest and really take the energy of the number six and harness it for your highest good. And we'll be working with Archangel Ariel, as she is the manifesting archangel. And a lot of people don't know that about her, but she's a really fun person, angel to connect with. And then I'll also be discussing some financial healing tools and how to up level your business, your brand, your life, and to feel good and confident when you are pricing your packages and services and not feel guilty about it.
Ah,
Yeah.
it's so funny. As we've started this podcast, we really started this podcast before I jump into what we're talking about tonight, but we really started this podcast right around the time when I started to rebrand myself from the Divine Duo to Julia Portela.
Mm-hmm.
And each week we're talking about something that came up just a little bit beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And me and you were just talking about that, about as I'm creating new services, and since you're my branding consultant, as I'm running those things past you, we were just talking about this, and it's so interesting to me how unintentionally synchronistic this podcast has been with the development of my own business. And I always walk away from our podcast, something that we host and we put so much energy into, and people are looking at us to be the experts on these things. And it's so interesting that I walk away with so much knowledge, even as I'm rebuilding my own brand. So it really is interesting. I want everyone to know out there that we're all kind of going through this stuff all together. So all of the stuff that you're going through and you think that maybe I've mastered or Brianna has mastered, it's definitely not all there yet.
Process.
So it's just really interesting. As you said, talking about pricing and stuff.
Yeah,
Because I've been stressing about this 24/7.
I know. And so if you're stressing about it, I'm sure everyone that's listening is going to be stressing about it too, or has been stressing about it. So it's a nice, we're all here for a reason. We're all listening to a reason. You were called here to join in with us for a reason. So if something's resonating with you, know that it's a message for you, not just for me and Julia.
Yeah. All right, ready?
Yeah. Oh, I'm psyched.
So I wanted to first talk about why 666 has such a negative connotation. It's actually a biblical reason. Did you know that?
No.
So 333 is known as the angel hour, right? And for those of us who are on a deeper spiritual level, we know that 333 represents the ascended masters. But in the Bible, 333 is when Jesus ascended to heaven. And so 666 is considered the devil's hour, and in a biblical sense. And it's sort of this hour and energy where the devil fell from heaven and was exposed, and all of this hell related stuff came up, and that's why it's got this kind of negative demonic connotation, which drives us in the spiritual community insane. 666 is such a positive, uplifting, success ridden number, and it means so much. It's such a powerful sign, and a lot of people get really intimidated and afraid of it and consider it like a really bad omen when it shows up in their lives, and they might therefore be pushing or rejecting money, finance, success, wealth, abundance, whatever it is that you're looking for. You might be pushing all of that stuff away unintentionally because you're unwilling to receive the numeric symbol or sign that the universe is sending to you. And the universe loves to send us numbers. It's very common. Most people get numbers. It's just such a common thing. I don't think I've ever met anybody who was like, oh, you start talking about 11:11, and people are like, I see 9:11, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I always wake up at 4:44. People always are connected to a number, whether it's their birthday, whether it's their anniversary date. I've just never met anybody who's not seen a number and taken significance to it, and it's so horrific to me that 666 gets the number that it does, the shame that it does. 6 in numerology, or 6 in astrology rather, is about your health and wellness. So there's definitely this physical aspect to the number 6, but 6 in numerology also represents, it's got a lot of Cancerian energy in it, and I like to take numerology and kind of layer it with the astrology because I find them to be very similar. It's about financial windfall and success, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. It's philanthropical. It's definitely got this aspect of, I make enough for me, but I also make enough to give away. And there's something really comforting in that. Especially in the world that we live in, we all have a cause that we fight for, and we all have something that we wish we could give money to, whether it's another person, whether it's someone on the street, whether it's an organization that you really support. And that's what the number 6 is also about. It's about having more than enough for yourself and for those around you. And that's why I say it's got some Cancerian energy in it, because Cancers love to take care of other people. So a lot of people that have a lot of 6 energy in their chart, they end up being really focused on giving that money to their family just because that energy is so tied together. So with that being said, Archangel Ariel is one of my favorite angels to work with. Anytime I need something instantly, I call on her because she is like the manifesting angel. And I love her energy because if you don't know, she also is the head angel of IET. I'm sorry, give me a second. I'm like about to cough up a storm, totally releasing something. Finances are not an issue for me, obviously. As we go through the motions.
It's okay, take your time.
I'm dying.
You're not. You're healthy and abundant.
I am. You're right. I'm sorry. It's a bad affirmation to say. So she's also the angel of IET, and I love that energy. I can't. My finances are such a blockage for me right now. I knew I was gonna have some releasing tonight. It's funny. I'm glad I'm doing it. So she's the angel of IET.
There we go.
And I'm looking for you to be laughing at me.
I am laughing. Trying to be supportive.
Thank you. That's what friends are for. I won't quit my day job. How it's like bad. So she's also the angel of IET, and I like that energy when we're talking about finances and manifesting, because IET is a healing modality that totally changes your DNA imprint or your karmic imprint. And so if you have these really negative ideas about money, Archangel Ariel can come in and use that IET energy to help you totally heal and transition that energy so that it's something positive and amazing, and that you can change this imprint and have some really positive thoughts about your money and your finances and your wealth, and especially about deserving what you want, and knowing that you deserve to get the money that you're putting out there for the time and effort and energy. So what was that?
That's huge. Knowing that you deserve the money. I think that that's like a big thing for people.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's definitely a block for most people, especially entrepreneurs, and it can be really hard as an entrepreneur. I know this, and you know this. When you work in a corporate office, you can walk in and ask for a raise. If they say no, they say no, but at least you can ask for it. When you're an entrepreneur and you kind of have these blockages about money, you don't really have somebody to ask. You have to kind of create it for yourself, and you have to get over these humps. Whether you have a spiritual practice or not, you have to get over those humps by yourself, because you don't have somebody to fall back on and ask them to support you or to give you a raise, or you have to make these kind of decisions by yourself. If I want more money and I feel like I deserve more money, I can't ask my boss. I am my boss, so I have to raise my prices. And there's definitely some fear-based energy around that when you're just starting out, or when you're not confident that you don't have a big enough client base, or are people going to pay for this. There's definitely a lot that goes into it, and I think Archangel Ariel is really, really perfect, because she will help you conquer that fear and totally change your thought process on it. And all of that definitely directly impacts your root chakra. This is all happening right down in that ovary area. I don't know what you would call that for a man, but if men's had ovaries, it would be in there. So everyone is born with ovaries. It's just men lose them eventually. I might be making that up, but I feel like I'm not. I feel like that's true.
I'm going to open up another tab and Google it.
Yeah, so it's really, really powerful stuff that we're talking about tonight. Do you have anything that you want to weigh in on? I've kind of just brain dumped, but
no, I think you're exactly right, and I think that finances are such a tough issue for people, and a lot of it dates back to their childhood and their relationship with money and knowing their value, and also it relates back to just what your industry has been like. So if you're a doctor, you have probably no problem charging people, or if you're a lawyer, no problem charging people. If you're a healer, you feel like you shouldn't charge people, because that's just how the world has been always seeing healers is as people that don't make that much money. But now with this whole revelation of spiritual awakening, healers are making just as much money as the lawyers and doctors, and it's because they're starting to understand what their value is and how healing services greatly impact people's lives just as much as a Western medicine doctor would. So it's pretty interesting to see how there's that shift, and how how people are beginning to have a more positive relationship with money. And money, although it's paper, really all money is just some sort of a way to exchange energy with people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much about the $10, the $20, the $100 bill. It's exchanging the energy of what you're giving to someone, whether it's a product or service, and receiving it back from them.
Absolutely. And I love that you brought up childhood, because I had done a financial healing, I hosted a root chakra class with my mom once, and one of the things that I wrote down as we were going through some healing stuff is I had this concept in my head, right, that you have to work really, 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 really hard just to get by. Mm-hmm. Really, really hard. I always watched my mom. My mom was a single mom. I love her to death. She worked so hard. She worked a full-time job, and then she used to work after hours at the Gap, or other places that she worked over the years. And my mom worked so hard. And not that I didn't have a good life. I never wanted for anything. We were never poor, but we weren't living in an extravagant house. And the vacations we took weren't because we had an abundance of money. It was because of my mom's full-time job. Mm-hmm. And, so we were lucky in the things that we had, but I don't want to make it seem like I didn't have enough, because I did, but it was just this concept in my head that I had, that you have to work really, really hard just to get by. And up until recently, if not even so still, I still have that thought ingrained in my head. Like, you have to work. I have to sit at my computer for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours to get a concept down, to put it on my website in order to make, $200 from one client. I mean, the thought process that goes into this stuff is really, really, really ingrained in you. You don't realize how much it deeply impacts you. So it really is important when you're doing any sort of healing to go back to your childhood and really, really, really think about it, and not for 5 or 10 minutes, but consistently for a day. How did this impact me? How did this impact me? And you'll start to see those patterns, especially when you're looking at something specific like money.
Yeah, definitely. And also noticing, I think, how you feel when you have to pay for something or when you want something and you don't treat yourself to it, is thinking about what emotions that's tied to that specific situation. And that might trigger stuff from your childhood, or, just taking that time, like how you said, to think back and say, well, why won't I treat myself to this massage, or why won't I treat myself to this yoga class, or when you're having anxiety paying for dinner or groceries or whatever it might be, why is that coming up for you? And typically
Right.
it's something that maybe happened in your past. It doesn't have to be your childhood. It could be, just something that happened in the past that it's still stuck within you, that you can address and begin to heal from. Because once you are witness to it, it makes it a little bit easier to focus in on that area of your life and see how you've grown, and why that happened to you, and how you can make that more of a positive impact versus a negative feeling.
Right. Definitely, 100%.
Yeah. So crazy. Money stirs so much weird shit for people. It's like, that button that everyone has some weird relationship with it. It's very rare that even rich people, they have weird relationships with it too. How they feel that money can maybe buy love, right? And or buy happiness or whatever it might be. But it doesn't, like, you could be poor, you could be rich. Everyone has this different distorted relationship with money.
And I think it's also important when you're looking at money to look at what, you can have an abundance of money and still not have all of the things that you want. So I think when you're talking about money, and, as we start to move into this energy of how do I create more of it and bring in more of it, what do you really want money for? And
I was just going to say that.
sometimes, oh my God, you must be psychic. Um, Sometimes I get caught up in this too. I feel like, I live paycheck to paycheck sometimes, and I look at myself and I'm like, I wish I had more money. But really, what do I want more money for? Okay, well, I want to be able to travel comfortably whenever I want. And not that I'm a crazy, but I would like to go away once a quarter. And that doesn't mean that I want to go to far and extravagant places. But if I want to pick up and go to Boston for a weekend, I don't want to worry about how I'm going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that I want money for. Two, I want to move out. And when you get really clear about your goals and what you're using your money for, it just naturally comes to you. And then you might achieve those things and not change your mind, but then there's new and more important things that you want, right? So you buy a house, but 2 years from now you get pregnant, and now you need a bigger house. Now you got to, manifest more money for a bigger house so your goals can change. But it's very important. We talk about this all the time, to be specific with your goals. It's really super important to be specific about where your money is going. Because if you're just saying, I need more money, and you don't have an idea for it, maybe you want to pay off your credit card bill. Maybe it's $1,000 that you need. It's just $1,000 extra over the course of, 6 months to pay off your credit card bill. And when you get really specific about that, then the money starts to flow in, because it's got somewhere to flow to.
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually creating flow when you get specific.
Exactly. And I think I've said it here before, but when we go shopping, we always know exactly what it is that we're searching for. We know that we want the black dress. We know that we're going for mangoes, whatever it might be. But for some reason, when we're manifesting, we never get specific. Like Julia just said, I want money or I need money, but you need to say why you need it and what you're going to be doing with it. So that way the universe can provide for you. So everything is an energy exchange. Everything is about being in energetic alignment with your needs and wants. So it's knowing why you need that money and what you're going to do with it. And it could be something as simple as you want to go shop at Whole Foods and you want to be able to afford that lifestyle, or it could be something, and it's all about knowing that you deserve it as well. So a lot of people, they want, let's say, a designer pocketbook or
Right.
a pair of Christian Louboutins, whatever it is, you deserve it because you want it. And I think it's society that said, no, you can't have it. Or just because you're a spiritual healer, why should you be wearing name brand clothing? Isn't that, contradictory? And it's not. It's who you are. It's the essence of you. Some people don't want name brand clothing and some people do. As long as you want it, you can have it. You just have to get specific as to why you want it, because it's going to make you feel good, or it's going to make you feel better in your business meetings or in your healings, or, going on a date. You want to feel hot. Whatever it is, you can feel hot and be abundant and still be spiritual at the same time.
Yeah, spirituality is about, I love that we're talking about this right now. Spirituality is totally about taming your ego, and your ego is not necessarily this part of you that says, I'm better than somebody, which is usually how we talk about the ego, but the ego is also the part of you that says that you're not enough. Mm-hmm. And it's this part of, it's this part of you that kind of, right, connects into this frontal lobe area of the brain, this analytical thinking, this step-by-step process thinking, that when we're meditating or when we're sleeping or when we're in a really, really deep spiritual state, the frontal lobe is the first thing to shut down. And that might be too sciencey or whatever for people, but it is true. And there's this part of ourselves that we kind of forget about, and the ego kind of resides all right here. And it's those nagging, nasty thoughts. And I know more than having thoughts of I'm better than somebody, I have total thoughts of like, I am never going to be good at this. I'm going to fail at this. I'm going to ruin my whole life. I'm going to do that. Like, I have, really harsh thoughts about myself, and that's your ego. And spirituality is all about taming that and just reining it and bringing it in and controlling it and owning it and being kind of flawsome with it. And I love that we're talking about this right now, because if you want to be a spiritual being, there's not anyone else in the world that gets to define what that is except for you. You get to take your spirituality as far or as little as you want to go. And I know for me and you, we're definitely searching for something deeper and something more meaningful, and we're definitely looking for answers to things that we might not get until we cross over and look at our life and look at our contracts and go to Akasha and we're like, damn, I wish I knew that then. But you never know, and you just got to keep searching and working and pushing through to be the best that you can.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that's really powerful, and it just goes to show you how there's so many different levels of spirituality, and knowing that you don't have an area where you shouldn't have to fit in. Like, spirituality is so open-ended, you could just be exactly who you are. It's just another that's like an egotistical term. It's just being spiritual. It's just being yourself.
It's bullshit spirit shit.
So is. Totally is. We're dropping hints for another podcast that is brewing, so listen up, everybody.
It'll be funny because we are.
Because we're hilarious.
And then this one will be less funny. We're hysterical. Laugh at us. If you have to force someone to laugh, does it count?
We come back to that.
It's like tickling someone. It's like the virtual tickle. Don't forget that that's good content.
Oh, it so is. We'll have to make a note of this and put it into like a social media post or something. I don't know. But anyways, so having a healthy relationship with money, manifesting with Archangel Ariel, and the number 6, and how that all works together. Because today is 6/6 and it's our 6th episode. So it's just really about breaking down your relationship with money and numbers and not letting them depict your life. Because again, so many people are so into numbers, and this is one thing that I kind of hate. in spirituality is that, I don't know how to say this in the most appropriate way, but that there's so many rules. And I feel like one of my passions, my mission is to break those rules and make it more funky and fun. And you know, I have a book about angel numbers and all that jazz, and it's really great. But I think it's all about making your own relationship to numbers. So, like how Julia said, the number 3 is the ascended masters are with you. If you feel differently, that's totally okay. Like I feel like that there shouldn't be any restrictions. And again, like how we're talking about being spiritual and what that means to you, it's all about finding yourself and how you feel and how you can connect with numbers, life, your purpose, whatever it might be, and having that feel completely authentic, because we are moving into this new age of spiritual awakening, the age of light. And my printer just turned on randomly by itself. So good.
What just went on?
My printer just turned on and like paper came flying out.
Spirit.
But we're moving into this new age of light where if you're not in complete alignment with yourself, with your business, with relationships, you're going to be forced to end them and start something new. And it's all about being completely raw, completely raw and transparent, not only with yourself but with the people around you, and not listening to external factors, and really having a deep relationship with yourself first. And I think that all boils down to what we're trying to get at in this episode about how the number 666 doesn't have to be this negative, scary thing. It could be something really positive and beautiful. And I believe that part of our mission tonight is to make sure that you have a beautiful relationship with that number as well, and to break through any barriers that you might have that are blocking you from having a healthy relationship with numbers, money, your root, the archangels, whatever it might be, and so that you can just go forward and live a happier and healthier life.
I can't tell if I'm hearing. Do you hear the birds?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I'm hearing that psychically.
They're from me.
Oh my God. I was like, I think I'm hearing this psychically. And I was like, I really want to look up what it means, but apparently.
From Blue Jays by my house.
Okay. I'm not crazy.
Yeah. You're a guide for someone that's watching.
Well, you just said something that was which goes along with the with the people can see you with the concept of birds.
Good.
Is where you put your intention is what's going to pop up for you. Mm-hmm. So when I was first opening up, I saw the number 13 everywhere, like everywhere. It was like I would see a letter or a word and it would have 13 letters in it. I would, get a phone call from 13, like, weird stuff. Like I would just see the number everywhere. And it's interesting how these numbers kind of evolve and they change. And, now I keep seeing, for months, I've been seeing this 927, which in one sense is it's my brother's birthday is 927. Or my sister's birthday, sorry. And on the other hand, it also means spiritual partnership. And so when I look at that, I'm like, well, that goes to a lot of things. I have a spiritual partnership with my sister, and I have romantic people that have come into my life, or business people like you that have come into my life, and friends. I shouldn't even call it business. I know we do business, but you're my friend. And,
Thank you.
These relationships kind of evolve and they've changed. But on the other hand, my sister is going through a lot of transitions and hard, I don't want to say hardships, but some confusing stuff for a little kid. And I'm really proud of her for who she is. And so there's a lot about her that's going on too, that's constantly in my energy field that I'm thinking about. So that number keeps popping up, but it has multiple meanings.
Yeah.
And it's wherever you put that intention. So now I've given, a little bit of attention to the number 927, and I see it on every license plate. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, I must see the same cars. Like you would think it's the same cars, but it's not. How many cars could have the license plate number with 927 on it? Let me tell you, I've seen every car on Long Island with 927 on it. Yeah. So it's just interesting where you put your intention with anything, any sign, symbol, omen, whatever it is that you want to call it, synchronicity that you want to pay attention to is what the universe is going to serve you. So if you want to even test that out, you can say in your head right now, I want to see the number 444, and I guarantee you'll wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and 44 minutes into the hour, and you'll be like, oh, weird, and you'll roll over, and then you'll see it on someone's license plate, or someone will give you a business card with 444 on it. You'll start to notice it because the universe awakens to what you give attention to.
Exactly.
I thought it was really important that you said that, because it is not about the rules. It's about how you create the rules in your head.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I actually have a funny story about the number 1111.
Oh, so.
Because I like to, not be a rule breaker, but like I hate following the trends. And when I first started awakening, all I saw was 1111, and I was getting so pissed because I was like, everyone sees 1111. This is complete BS. Like, I want to see something else. Like, come to me in a different way. Like, I don't want to be like everyone else seeing 1111, make a wish, whatever BS thing that, goes around. That's just like where my headspace was at. And then one night I was in my den, I was watching TV, and I saw 1111 on the cable box, and I was like, you kidding me? Like, I'm seeing this freaking number again. Like, what the hell does this mean? Why does this keep happening? So then it went to 1112, and I was like, all right, whatever. And then I looked back up, and it went from 1112 back to 1111 again.
Oh, that's weird.
I know, and I was like, oh. Like, I literally was like, I froze. I was watching TV, and I was like, and then I just decided to look for 1111. So there's a lot of different meanings for numbers, and it could just be a way of spirit, your angels, guides, whoever it might be, just saying hi. Typically that is the first way they will connect with you, is through numbers, because it's the easiest thing for them to show you.
Yeah, it's definitely numbers.
This big, powerful thing it could be. But it could just be them saying like, hi, we're over here, pay attention to us. And then the second you start to feed into it, or not feed into it, but you start to bring it into your awareness, then other things are happening. You'll see the dimes on the ground, you'll find the white feathers, you'll start to feel spirit, see spirit, whatever it might be. And it starts to unravel from there.
Well, they're trying to get you to notice synchronicity so that you'll ask for something more specific. Because you have to think of spirit as, me and you are in our 20s, but there are people that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s that are having their spiritual awakening. And think about how long spirit has been literally with the fire hoop, jumping through the hoop for us to notice them, and for us to, to get our attention, and just running around in circles, consistently trying to create miracles for us. And we are constantly, ignoring it. And it's so amazing because numbers are just such an easy way to awaken yourself and to get in tune with that energy. And once you do, exactly like how you said, you're like, I don't want to see this, I want to see this. Mm-hmm. And you start to get specific, which is that word again. You start to get specific about, okay, well, I asked today, and I'm waiting for it to pop up because it was about a business decision. I was like, if this is the decision I'm supposed to make, send me a silver dollar. Because when's the last time you saw one of those? So you have to, you can get like really specific and creative about it. And I'm just waiting. I'm like, not on the edge of my seat, but I'm just waiting for somebody to strike up a conversation, to find one in the street, to turn on the radio and there's a song called Silver Dollar on. I mean, all you have to do is ask for a sign. And when you get specific about something that you want to see, like, hey, send me this, they will send it to you, because now you're speaking their language.
Exactly. You're telling, and you're also teaching them how you want to communicate with them, which is a big it starts off, I know, like for a lot of people our age, it starts off at childhood, seeing spirit, and then you block it out because you're like scared shitless. And then when you get older, you start awakening, you want to know more and more and more, but you just have to tell them how you want to be spoken to. So for me, I'm like, not at my house, not in my bedroom, like whenever I call my presence. Like you're able to set the rules, and you tell them how you want to be seeing messages. If you want to hear it, see it, feel it, just know it, all the clairs, as I'm sure a bunch of you know that are listening, and you're always in control.
Yeah, I actually even just recently changed how I got it. When I first opened up, I was very clairsentient, and it would be everything that I touched, I was literally having a physical reaction to. And it's just not, I mean, now that I'm in control of it and that I have good use of it, I'm able to maintain that a little bit better. But it definitely was hindering me for a little bit. And at the beginning of the year, I kind of asked and then was told by Lucas, my spirit guide, that I was going to be more clairaudient. And I tell you, I have the most synchronistic events with music that are like, it doesn't even seem real, the stuff that happens. So you can tell them too, because they know I'm open to everything, but predominantly right now my clairaudience is really big for me. So, and it will develop and change, and sometimes certain senses will take a back seat and other ones will be driving, and you'll kind of just get to know when you're switching. And if you're a reader too, it might depend on someone's energy. I know if I was sitting down with one client, I might be really clairvoyant, but another client, I would be really clairsentient. So I don't know how we really kind of got on this tangent, but I'm happy that we're putting this information out there for people, because I feel like it's really important when it doesn't seem like it might be all connected to your finances, but all of this stuff is just ways for you to, as we like to say, raise your vibration. And the more that you're raising your vibration and bringing...
That's the name of my next meditation class.
I love it. I feel like your last meditation class, I was like, when was this last meditation class? When am I getting my period? That's kind of how I felt today. Not to be graphic for everyone out there, but yeah, it's just all ways for you to raise your vibration. And the more that you're raising your vibration, the more that you're clearing your energy and getting specific and doing stuff like that, then the more that you're attracting money, finances, abundance to you.
Love it. That's so so spot on with how I completely feel about this whole topic. So do you think that
so happy.
do you think that we're ready to discuss some relationship with money stuff and how to conquer that when you are pricing your services or products? Yeah, this is probably my favorite thing. And if you're a friend of mine or a client of mine, you know that the second you begin working with me, I jack up your prices, because 99.9% of the time you are charging not nearly enough. And it makes me so frustrated, because your work is so beautiful and valuable. And you deserve as much money as you want and need, and you need to be supported financially as well, because again, money is only energy. So it's really about finding that fine balance between what you're putting out and what you're receiving. So a lot of people, I think the biggest thing is not thinking that they deserve the money that they're charging, or not even charging, deserve the money that they want to charge. That's why they always lowball it. But when you lowball your prices, whether it's for a product or a service, you end up resenting it, because you're putting so much energy into that product or service and you're not getting that much money back. So you might think that $75 an hour is great, but a big thing to think about is how long did it take for you to acquire that client? So a client acquisition is a huge thing. Especially if you're doing marketing or, just reaching out and networking or going to networking events, whatever it might be, that takes time and energy. Then plus the time to even set up the appointment with that person, that could take 3 to 5 emails. It's not, very rarely does a person randomly email you and say, I want to book one session. It's always a whole process behind it. Typically they'll have questions, and again, that's your time and energy, and then you actually have the full session with them, whether it's 60 minutes, 90 minutes, half an hour, or you give them the product, and that again, that costs money. And then there's always a follow-up, because you want to follow up with the client. So that $75 ends up, when you figure out all the hours that went into it, you could be making $10 an hour, and it's pretty crazy. So I was actually talking to one of my friends and clients earlier today. She wanted to charge a ridiculous amount of money for her services, and ridiculous in a bad way. I was like, are you effing kidding me? I was like, that's what you were going to charge? And we ended up deciding on a price that was like quadruple what she originally thought of. And I said to her that I want to share with everyone is, when you charge more money, you are doing an amazing thing for that other person, because that other person is up-leveling themselves and their brands and their self-worth by knowing that they can afford your services. So let's say you charge $300-$400 an hour. That might sound like a lot, but you have a beautiful gift that you're giving to them. You're giving them so much quality and service from yourself, but you're also giving them a healing, almost in a sense of saying, I deserve this $400 session for an hour. And you're, in a sense, you're raising their vibration to be raised to this level of, I deserve this. I'm willing to put in the effort. So it's a really beautiful thing when you are beginning to charge more, because you are setting the bar higher for them. You're also going to get people that are committed. They're committed to your work, they're committed to yourself, and they believe in you, because when you start charging a higher price point, um, it not only enables you to live a life that you've always wanted, but it also allows you to attract the people in that really want your services, that respect you. Like, you're not going to get someone in there that's going to be trying to barter with you, or just ask you to lower your price, because that's what happens when you start lowballing your services. Everything is energy, so you're doing a discount service, so you're going to get those shoppers that shop around and that want to get more for their money, and it's going to make you feel like crap. And we've all been there, we've all done it. It's not bad if you're there right now, but take this as a sign to begin to think about the quality of your services, what you put into it, and how much you can charge. Another big thing is that when you do charge more money, is making sure you're in an energetic alignment with that price. So um, when I first started out, I was charging, I think, $125, and then I went up to $175, and now I'm up to $275, and I'm probably going to increase it soon because it's starting not to feel energetically good for me. But each time that I up leveled, each time that I increased, my services got better and better, of course, because I was putting more time and energy into it, but I felt in alignment with that price. So don't feel like you should just go charge $600 an hour because you want to make more money. You have to feel good about telling that person, hey, my service is $600 an hour. And you have to be in complete alignment with that $600, because if you're not, the other person will feel that, and they will feel insecure. They'll feel your insecurity because you feel uncomfortable charging that much money, and then they're going to lose the value in you and your services. So we're going to go through a meditation briefly, and we're going to discuss and figure out where our relationship with money stems from, and how money makes us feel, because it's just really interesting. I believe I've spoken about this before, but everyone that I know, they always want to make more money, or they always want to be in a higher level bracket. And as we begin to increase, it's a beautiful thing. But then that also triggers all these weird financial issues that we might have, that we didn't even know that we had. And one of my clients, we were doing a financial healing, and I was having her visualize different forms of money, different amounts. We're going to do this later. And once we got up to, I think it was $1 million, picturing her holding it, she got so uncomfortable and her energy totally wonked. And I was like, what the heck happened? Like, why don't you want to hold $1 million? Like, all you're doing is visualize holding it. And ended up being that her father was very successful, like multi-millionaire, and her mother was poor, and the parents were divorced. So money to her triggered divorce, triggered separation, triggered all these things from her childhood. So to her, when you make money, you're an ugly person. Although she might have a good relationship with her father now, when she thinks about money, she thinks about how it separated her family, and that triggers so many other types of emotions. So it's really important when you are pricing your services and your products to figure out the financial healing that you need, and making sure that you're in alignment with each price point, especially when you begin to up level, once you begin to charge more for your services. And it's completely natural for you to want more, because you're continually growing, you're taking continuing education courses, whatever it might be, your knowledge is expanding. I saw this great infographic on Facebook, and because when you're purchasing a product, you have a physical thing in your hand. But for services, it's very hard for people to price them because there's nothing tangible there. But you have to realize that that person is buying into your knowledge base. So they're buying your bachelor's, master's, PhD. They're buying all of the continuing education programs and courses that you've taken. And that is completely invaluable. Like, that is something that you have to have a good relationship with, and realize that you can charge more money, because although it's not a physical product, it is something that you hold and that you're sharing with them that they wouldn't have ordinarily. So what do you think, Julia?
I'm actually happy that you said that, because you know that I'm having issues with my prices. Ooh, my ear is totally going right now. And it's actually true. I've been taking classes and studying spirituality in a one-to-one setting and mentorship settings for 3 years now, 3.5 years. And actually for 4 years, yeah, a little bit longer than that. And when I look at all the money that goes into, my classes, depending on who I'm taking them with, I mean, some of them are more expensive than others, but let's just go with my one-to-one mentor, my main mentor. It's $40 a class, but every week for 4 years, how much money does that add up to?
Wow.
So actually when I look at it like that, it really does help me get a little bit more comfortable with a price that you told me I should be charging. And that it actually scared me in a good way, not in a bad way, but you still have to conquer those things too. And when I look at it like that, I've been, even though I was doing those things for myself at the time, I always knew that one day they were going to impact other people. And what I have learned is invaluable, and other people aren't doing the classes and the things that I've done. And when someone is buying your services, they're buying into all of the stuff that you really have invested in yourself. It really is such a great point. I'm so happy that you brought that up, because you can think about every time that you read an article, even that made you better, but it took you half an hour to get through it because it was a really long article or whatever. Any investment of your time that you've spent making yourself better, that's going into your business as a service, is really impacting somebody else, and it deserves to be priced out fairly based on your knowledge, your wealth, and what you have to bring to the table.
Yeah,
definitely. I'm actually really happy that you said that.
Thank you. This also just triggered something else for me, because I know, oh my God, it's so funny. I just happened to look down at my stapler, and imprinted in the stapler is 444.
That's so funny. See, the universe delivers.
Yes. But I wanted to touch upon, because I know everyone that's watching might not be an entrepreneur, solopreneur, whatever you want to call yourself. They could be someone that has a 9 to 5. And this translates to that too. So when I was in my early 20s, after I graduated college, I had this job, and it was really great because I made good money at it. And I was there for a year, and within the year I had completely grew the company, and our revenue had doubled, and it was amazing. And I knew that my value there had expanded. And it was time for me to be compensated financially for it. So I was 23 years old, and we were in the middle of the recession, and I worked in healthcare. So health insurance companies were going to shit. People weren't paying, as much as they used to. And it was just like a bad time. But I didn't feed into it. I don't know if it's just because I was younger and I was naive, and I just didn't even go there. But I knew that I deserved this money. So I just felt that so many other people would have said, you know what, the economy's bad, I'm not going to ask for a raise, or, this and that, whatever it might be. But I knew my worth. I knew that I was beginning to become unhappy at my job because I wasn't making as much. So I went in and I wrote out this huge dissertation, like this big, of everything I did and my value to the company and everything that I had done for them, and all the services I provided, how we expanded, whatever it might be. I totally wrote it out. I marched into my boss's office and I asked for a $20,000 raise, which is pretty massive for someone at 23 years old. And we ended up negotiating it, and I stood my ground, and she wanted to give me 12, and then got her up to 15. And I was like, listen, this is where I'm at. This is it. And she's like, are you not leaving my office until you get it? And I said, yes. I said, and if I don't get it, I'm leaving the building. I won't be working here. And then I ended up getting a $20,000 raise. And it was probably one of the best points in my career, because I stood my grounds. I knew my worth. And it was at such a young age that I was able to do that. And I just think that if you're listening and you're feeling like you're starting to resent your job and you just feel like you need more, you do need more. And it's okay to ask for more. And it could be something, it doesn't have to be 20,000. It could be $1,000 or $5,000 or, whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be astronomical like that. It could be something a lot smaller, and that's okay. It's wherever, again, you feel comfortable. And it's all about knowing your value and having a comfortable relationship with money. So when I went in there, I don't know, I just had this number. I was like, I want to be paid $20,000 more. And I stuck to it, and it felt so good. It felt so in alignment with me and my soul that I got it. But if you go in there and you ask for 20 grand and you feel uncomfortable about it, your boss is going to feel that way. And they're going to know that, not that you're bullshitting, but they're going to know that, you know, you don't feel like you entirely deserve it. So it's all about knowing that the universe is abundant and it can fulfill your every want and need as long as you're in complete alignment with that want and need as well. So just wanted to shoot that out there as well.
Yeah, I definitely had the same experience when I was in corporate. Not for 20 grand, but and I didn't ask for it, but I was definitely putting it out there that I was doing a lot of things that were not expected of me. And I got called into my boss's office one day and I got a raise.
Good for you.
Yeah, and I remember it was the same thing. It wasn't anything astronomical. It was $1,500 more to my annual salary, which I knew was, you know, which I knew was within their budget and things like that. But I was the type of person that I was doing my responsibilities and then I was picking up for some slack on my team. And then on top of it, I was running around and, you know, organizing our supply closet and other people that really needed help. And, you know, when you're in a corporate setting, you really need to definitely, even more so than when you're in a business, I think, be conscious of your worth. Because I think when you become an entrepreneur, you know, you definitely have enough self-worth to get out there a little bit if you feel like you have a message.
Yeah.
And you're going to become an entrepreneur. So it's just pushing through those small blocks and those glass ceilings, but it's definitely a little bit harder when you're in corporate and there's a little bit more structure and some rules. So don't lose your worth no matter where you are. You have so much energy going on in your room right now. It's actually like, I saw something on both sides and it's like walking across your room. Doesn't it make you want to be like, get out?
No, it isn't. I think I kind of know who it is, but I'm not sure.
Not to like get into a psychic reading here, but it definitely feels like it's like a grandma, like a.
Ooh.
It's definitely older female energy.
Cool.
I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, but, thank you.
Thank
you.
You're welcome. I know I have some stuff going on back here too because I saw something before and I was like trying, like fighting the urge to be like, who are you?
Tell me who are.
I know. Ew, and there's a random hair here that's not mine.
Beautiful.
That's how you know, spirits.
You're just shedding on your desk.
What?
Just shedding on your desk.
I know. Ew, it's kind of gross. It was a blonde hair, so I knew it was not mine.
Michael.
It was a short blonde hair. Or Lucas has blonde hair too.
Cool. I think another thing that I also want to point out about the number 6 before we like go into the meditation and whatnot. Sorry, I have something in my eye. Number 6 can also represent.
That means money, I think.
What'd you say?
That actually means money. I'm going to go to a book. You talk about that. I'm going to see if I can.
The number 6 can represent that you're focusing too much on finances. Meaning that you're worried too much about finances, that you're worried that your bills aren't going to be taken care of, or that you don't deserve this and that, whatever it is that you're searching for, that you're just focusing too much on material things. And once you release that control, all of your needs will be met. And I just think that that's a powerful thing, and that's what resonates the most with me. So today I was actually, I don't even know why I was stressing out about money. Like I have no reason to be stressing out about money. But today I guess because I was thinking about 6-6 and I knew we were going to do like some financial healing stuff, that money popped into my head, and I was thinking about how I'm going to be making some new changes in my business. And, you know, your brain just goes off on a tangent.
Yeah.
And the second I realized what I was doing, I released it and I let go. And I just started doing some affirmations that I always use, saying that thank you for the abundance. Abundance flows to me with grace and ease, like my whole slew of things. I just happened to check my email and I received a payment from our client for $350. It was completely random. And I just felt like that was just a sign, you know, from the universe saying you're supported. So when you keep seeing 6s, again, it doesn't be something negative. It could just be giving you a sign to stop worrying so much, that the universe is trying to hook you up, but your own negative thinking is dragging it down.
Where's your right eye that was itchy, right?
Yeah.
An itching right eye is said to be an omen of coming laughter and abundance.
Ha! Ha ha ha! Got the laughter down.
And it's like an itchy, yeah, I know. I supply the laughter. Ha ha ha. An itchy left eye is a sign of tears and financial loss. So
Oh, my left eye never bothers me.
your left eye.
So interesting. So, Julia, oh God, it's bothered me. You feel like you're ready for the meditation?
Yeah.
Why did you say that?
Your meditations always rock my world.
Oh, this should be a good one, I think, for not only us, but for everyone that's listening. Because I think that if you're listening, you're probably having some financial shit. Or if you're not, please send this to someone that you know that is going through some financial trauma or needs some financial healing. And typically, we always know someone in our lives that could use a little extra help. So, before we begin, ooh, good oil to pull out. Thank you. Thank you. That's a beautiful one.
I'm sending it to you.
Thank you. Received. I like to put that one in my wallet.
Ooh.
Yeah, pour it a little my money, make it.
I don't know why I'm doing this, but I am.
Hey, maybe your
I'm reprogramming my thoughts, maybe.
Oh, that's a good way of thinking about it.
But this is what I'm being guided to do. So
for people that are listening and can't see her, she's like rubbing her ears. So, in order to begin, again, sit comfortable in your chair. Have your palms facing upwards, and you could focus your eyes inwards and upwards before you shut them to activate that third eye. And just begin to settle into your breath, breathing in and out, in and out. So tonight's meditation is all about healing our finances and seeing what traumatic memories might pop up for us. And even if it's not traumatic, it is still causing us trauma to have a negative relationship with money and our self-worth. So as you begin to breathe and settle in and relax, rolling your shoulders back, I want you to bring your awareness to your root chakra, which is at the base of your spine, which is your lower belly. And just bring your awareness here. And before you visualize anything, you might have had something pop up in your mind's eye. You might feel some tension or heaviness here, and just take note of what's going on in this center. And you could feel completely free too. It doesn't have to be something negative, but just take note of how your physical body is feeling. And once you've done that, begin to visualize a disc rotating here in a deep red. And using your mind's eye, just begin to watch this disc and notice how it moves. Notice if it's moving freely. Notice if it's stuck. Notice if there's any other colors surrounding it. Notice if there's any darkness lying here. Notice if there's any light lying here. And just with a non-judgmental eye, take note of what's going on. Become present in your body. Become present in your spiritual body. And bring this awareness to yourself, to your thoughts. This is all about getting to know you. Because money stems from you. It is the foundation of your being. And it all roots back to our self-worth. Money doesn't have to be tough. Money doesn't have to be a struggle. You don't have to work 60 hours a day to be a millionaire. These are all things that you have learned from exterior people. And you can connect back with yourself. You can connect back with the divine, with the source, with God. You feel a sense of abundance. You'll know that every need and wants that you have will be taken care of when it is time. Begin to feel the abundance, the energy of abundance coming into you. And just notice how this makes your body feel. And as this energy sets in, bring your awareness back to that root chakra, back to that disc. And if you notice any darkness residing here, begin to surround that area in beautiful white light, absorbing all the darkness, taking it away. And as you take away that darkness, watch as that disc begins to move freely. Watch as your root begins to open up. And begin to feel the energy here. Begin to feel the tension lift. Feel the swirling of the energy opening and unraveling, entering into your energetic body, flowing into the abundance energy that has been flowing into you through your crown. Feel those energies meet. Feel the energy of the abundance begin to absorb that root energy. Feel it begin to set in, to take over. Feel it begin to imprint into your body that you are abundant, that you are deserving, that money flows to you with grace and ease. There is nothing to worry about. Feel any pain, tension, worry, situation that has popped up for you, feel it wash away. Feel the abundance uplift you. Feel it take over your entire body, not just your root, but maybe your feet, your knees, your hips, your stomach, your chest, your throat, your crown. You're an abundant being. You are connected to the divine energy of abundance and flow. There is no reason to have any financial issues. You are deserving of everything you want and more. You are deserving of that 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure business. You are deserving of that raise. You are deserving of that new job. And as you sit here, I want you to begin to think about a money goal. This could be that you want to raise. This could be that you want to up-level your business and charge more for your services. And I want you to hold that number in your mind's eye. And once you've done that, begin to visualize holding that money. You could be holding that raise of 20 grand, feel it sitting in the palms of your hand. Or if you are charging more for your services or your products, feel it sitting in your palms. What is your hourly cost you would love to charge? And while it's sitting there, notice what happens in your body. Did you tighten up? Did you automatically think you don't deserve it? Or did you feel, fuck yeah, this is what I deserve? This feels good to me. And if you do feel some negativity towards this number or some pain, I want you to bring your awareness to the area of your body that is holding onto that negative attachment. And once you bring it there, just begin to ask your higher self what is causing this. And someone, something will probably pop up into your head. And again, just acknowledge this person, this situation with a non-judgmental eye, and send them love. And let them or that situation know that it can no longer control your money mindset, your finances, or how you feel about money. That is something separate from you that cannot determine how you feel, or how much money you make. That you are deserving of everything you want and more. That money flows to you with grace and ease. And again, bring your awareness back down to your root. With your palms up, again, visualize that money, visualize that salary increase, visualize that product or service increase, and notice how it feels now. Notice how it sits in your palms as if it's always meant to be there. Notice how that energy fills you up. Notice how good it feels. And know that more money is coming to you. As you raise your vibration, you become an energetic match for your dreams. More goodness is coming to you because you deserve it. because you're worth it. Take one deep breath in and hold it, and then release, push it out. Bring your awareness back down to your root and begin to close this chakra up. But not all the way, leaving just a little bit of light to flow through. And again, take one more deep breath in and release. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And now that the money that you asked for is coming to you and it's on its way, and it will come in divine timing when exactly that you need it. How was that for you, Julia?
It was great. I actually had some back pain.
Ooh.
So that's how you know you're really working on your root.
Mm-hmm.
But I other than that, I saw one price in my head that I should be charging, and actually my angels upped it and said, no, it's this price. And I was like, okay. And so I actually saw that I'm creating 2 different types of sessions. I got a lot of business stuff. I'm creating 2 different types of sessions. One that's charged this price, one that's charged this price. And just really interesting stuff. I also saw how much money I'll make a year from my launch date, which is more than I anticipated. So,
Awesome.
yeah, so it was some really cool stuff. I'm interested to see how it comes to fruition.
Thanks for sharing.
Woo!
Woo-hoo. Yeah, so that's always a lot of fun for me to connect people with money and to connect people with the energy of money, because even if you don't have a business, money is around us 24/7, and it really just it's all about your relation to yourself and your self-worth and what you think you deserve. So it's really powerful. And I know the new moon was the other day, but if you guys like, I always write out my money manifestations and what I want to make. And you can connect with Archangel Ariel, as she is the manifesting archangel, and just ask for her assistance. If you don't have a number in your head, or even if you do, ask for her assistance as you are writing out your manifestations, because she will assist you and just help you to feel more comfortable doing it. And you can still tap into that energy, although it was, I think, 2 nights ago. Still there, and you can do that and have a lot of fun with it. But I think that's about it for me and financial healing. And number 6, and how to just have a good relationship with money, is, for starters, having a good relationship with yourself and value yourself as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love when you get all serious.
Oh, doesn't happen often.
I know. Definitely not us when we're together. So, all right, do you want to open up for readings, or?
Yeah, let's do a reading. Do you want to do 1 week and I'll do the other week?
Yeah, I love when we do that. That's my favorite.
Okay, do you want to go first or second?
I want to go second.
Okay, I knew you were going to do that.
Sorry.
No, it's all about being psychic.
They were guided to the same thing.
Yes. All right, so let's see. What do these angel viewers want to know?
What deck of cards are you using?
Healing with the Angels.
Ah, that's a good one.
Woo! I got a really good cards this one. This deck.
I love that deck. That was my first deck, by the way.
Really? I haven't used it really at all, but I feel like
really.
Yeah.
That's like my old reliable deck. That was my first deck, as well as the romance deck, and I really, really love that. How it holds just such a special place in my heart. And the messages that I get from that deck are always super positive and reassuring and strong, and they take me back to that kind of place when I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was flipping a card.
Your first.
So I love that. That's so perfect.
Aw, well, I'm glad that I'm using it then. So the card that I chose was, I think, very fitting. It is the body care card.
That's like a direct message to me. They're like, go to yoga.
No, it's a direct
message.
They're
like, lose that weight. Stop eating meat. Stop putting sugar in your mouth. I just ate half a bag of purple Doritos.
Ooh, those are the best, though.
I know they are. They are really good.
But I think it's a message for everyone to take care of yourself. And I think that a lot of spiritually minded people lose that because we're so busy taking care of everyone else. And again, we're so afraid of dressing trendy or dressing good because we're afraid of people thinking that we're egotistical by doing that. But it's really all about making sure that you feel good. And that could be in a pair of pants from Target, or it could be in a pair of pants from Michael Kors. It's whatever feels good to you, and just making sure that you know your worth, and that you really take care of yourself, whether it is, my Long Island accent almost just came out like really heavy and I had to stop it. Just
Long Island.
yeah, take care of yourself, whether that's getting a manicure, taking a bath. Just know that this is like a deep time of, I think, like nurturing and figuring out what your soul really wants to do. And that all comes in with body care because we're always caught up in going. And this is the moment, I think, within the next week is to stop, breathe, and realize what it is that you really want to do and what you really deserve.
I love that.
Thank you.
So that's for this week, this upcoming week.
Yeah.
So I am working with, hold on, let me pull my deck up. So I'm working with the numerology deck. And I was saying earlier that this is my favorite deck because I find it to be the most accurate deck that I've ever used. I don't know why I feel that way. I'm just really drawn to it. It's really, really powerful to me. And the card that I picked for next week is leadership.
Ooh.
And so when I first saw this, my first initial thought was, wow, being a leader in your own life and taking control, really taking control of your finances, your body, your vibration, basically your life, taking ownership of your life and the way that it's going and being responsible for it. But there's also this kind of, the card is orange, and then it's actually, as I'm holding it up, it looks really pink, but
yeah,
the inner star is pink and the outside is actually orange. So what I get from that is we're doing a lot of work in our sacral chakra, which would also have to do with our self-worth and our creativity. So if you're even if you're not in a spiritual business, but if you're in a spiritual business, you know that there's a lot of creativity that goes into it and a lot of self-worth that goes into, again, telling yourself, that you deserve the money that you're putting out there, that you want. So there's definitely some self-worth that's going into that. And this little pink that's in the middle, even though the whole card looks pink, it's so funny. But the little pink in the middle is showing me that the angels are actually, and I think Ariel is pink, although I'm not quite sure. You might know that better.
Yep.
It's actually telling me that the angels are with you, helping you heal that, because pink is such an energy of love. So that if you're coming from a place of love, then your self-worth will always help you attract the money that you're deserving, and it will then help you take that ownership that you
I like that.
I love those cards. They're just like, there's so much out of them, even though they're so simple, and they're just such a simple,
very good,
aesthetically they're so simple, but I love them. How many times can I say the same thing?
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, and I'm really grateful that Spirit decided to have us have an episode on 6/6 and have it be our 6th episode, so we can demystify this number and we could teach people how to have a healthier relationship with money. And the mantra that I would like to leave with everyone that I use throughout the meditation is, money flows to me with grace and ease.
I love that.
I know. It's like, honestly, I use it all the time because, like how you were saying, is that we feel like we have to work so hard for our money, and money can just show up in unexpected ways. It doesn't have to be in the way that you are projecting it. It doesn't have to be from a client. It doesn't have to be from whoever. Like a couple of, was it like a month ago? I use this mantra all the time, and it was a small check, but I happened to go to the mailbox and I had a $75 check from Discover Loans because I've paid off my student loans, and they said 1 year I overpaid. Like, when do you ever hear that a student loan company gives you money back? Like, it was so ridiculous. And although it was only $75, I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like, okay, I'm gonna go get a massage. Like it was just like found money. Like I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
It just made me feel like it was so connected to the mantra, because money flows to me with grace and ease. It's just giving it up and knowing that it's going to show up no matter if it's from a client, it's from a random person, or, you know, you don't know. You don't know. And it's not your place to know where it's going to come.
Yeah, I've been saying that recently to you. Like, I'll be like, oh, I have to pay something off. And, you know, all of a sudden someone will step in and be like, hey, I've got this for you. And I'm like, oh, like totally not. I haven't necessarily manifested more money, but I've manifested people paying for shit that I needed to pay for anyway. So it really is helpful when you sit down with it. But now I'm trying to manifest more money, so I like that. Because I wrote down, I have on my computer, every time that I open my computer, I see I am profoundly abundant. But I think on the other side, I'm going to put money flows to me with grace and ease, because then I'll remind myself that it has to be a certain way too.
I agree. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm glad that you love it too. So I think that concludes our night. We'll be back in 2 weeks, which will be on, what is that? Today is the 6th, so it's the 20th. Yes, so the 20th, where it's the oh shoot, what's it called, Julia? Why can't I think of it? Summer solstice. So we're going to be discussing the summer solstice and having you know, a big online party for that and setting intentions, and it's gonna be really fun. So it's also going to be partially someone's birthday. Right around that time, so we'll probably have a little mini birthday party too, and it'll be a lot of fun. So we hope to see you guys there. And I know, Julia, you are amazing at doing our closing and saying goodbye, so I'm going to hand that off to you.
Thank you. I'm trying to think if we have any announcements, but I don't think we do.
They're coming.
I know. Yeah, we do. We have some big stuff in the works.
Yeah.
I feel like one day we're going to come in, we're like, and this is an announcement, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And it'll be a great day. Yeah. Maniacal laugh. Ha, ha. Yeah, so until the 20th, thank you for listening to The Awakened Life, where New Age babes come for life and business advice. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.